Hello and welcome to my painting video. In this video I'll be painting a classic action figure of Boba Fett. Made in 1979, this is a little piece of Star Wars history. I was given this action figure with the question to make it look cool again, so I tried just that. This project was quite a challenge. Painting an action figure is very different than a miniature. Sure, there are fewer smaller details, but the sculpt is a lot rougher and I had a problem getting the paint to stick on the primer for some reason. Let me show you my progress. I tend to start with the main and underlining colors. In this case, this is the grey and beige uniform. I prime the model with Wraithbone and I will add a base coat of Rakarth Flesh. Next, I will give the model a wash of Nuln Oil. At first I tried to keep it in the recesses, but this was difficult because of the very rough sculpt. With Rakarth Flesh, I'm bringing back some of the original color. Lastly, I'll highlight the uniform with Dheneb Stone. Dheneb Stone is an old Citadel paint. Funny enough, its replacement is Rakarth Flesh, but as you can see here, it's not the same color at all. The boots I'll give a base coat of Stormvermin Fur. They are supposed to be a different shade of grey and this will give some variation to the figure. I washed the boots with Nuln Oil. I will layer the boots with Mechanicus Standard Grey. Try to keep the ridges a darker shade as seen on the example pictures I got from the internet. Lastly, I'll base coat his boot soles with Rakarth Flesh. The first step is complete. I first wanted to use a more flat grey as the base color, but I think this looks much more like the original costume. Next, I will paint the iconic green armor plates. Because I didn't have the right kind of green, I tried the following. First, I will base coat with Death Guard Green. Next, I highlight the armor with Nurgling Green. Note that this still doesn't look like the bright green of Fett's armor. I will fix this in the next step. I used the contrast paint Ork Flesh to brighten up the green so it will look closer to the costume's armor panel. In hindsight, after finishing the model, I saw that the highlight I made wasn't really visible anymore. So the green armor panels could use a bit more definition. I found a pretty quick way to paint the yellow pads because the contrast paint Iyanden Yellow looked just what I needed. I highlighted the pads with Yriel Yellow. Note that I'm also painting a basis for the battle damage I will add at the end. I did this with all the armor pieces. The yellow pads were easy to do, and as you'll see later on, they look great with some weathering. Let's block in some more colors. First, I give all the leather straps a coat of Gore-Grunta Fur. Next, I will paint all the red armor pieces with a mixture of Mephiston Red and Mournfang Brown. I give this a wash of Agrax Earthshade, just to get some shading in there. I'll create a highlight with Mephiston Red. Note that I also paint the bases for some battle damage. The fat man is starting to look a lot better. Just some small details to finish and then we can get to the jetpack. All the black parts on Fett will get a base coat of black Templar contrast paint. All the metal is base coated with Leadbelcher. And given a wash of Nuln Oil. Finally, I use Ironbreaker to highlight the metal. I find Ironbreaker to be a little bit more subdued than Stormhost Silver. I found out that Boba actually has two different colored jetpacks in both Empire and Jedi. I decided to go with the Empire jetpack as it looks a bit more interesting to paint. The yellow parts are base coated with Iyanden Yellow and given a highlight of Yriel Yellow. The blue parts are base coated in Thunderhawk Blue. I washed the blue parts with some Drakenhof Nightshade. Finally, I give it a highlight of Hoeth Blue. Then there are these two small red tops on the canisters, which I painted with a mixture of Mephiston Red and Mournfang Brown. I really like the look of this jetpack. Although it uses a different color than the rest of the figure, it fits the cobbled together look of Boba. We can't have a Boba Fett figure with some extensive battle damage. I use Leadbelcher for this. Make sure you still see the outlines of the previously made bases. Finally, I give everything a subtle wash of Agrax Earthshade to dirty out the metal a little bit. And here we have a finished Boba Fett. He's missing some markings and such though. It was quite a challenge to paint an action figure, but it was fun, so I'll definitely do another one. The rough sculpt plus all the moving parts can make it quite difficult to paint. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't cross any huts, and thanks for watching.